Let's talk a little bit more from the employee perspective. We have this interesting situation that there's this enormous enthusiasm and adoption of AI in people's personal lives, where people may put very, very personal, sensitive information into ChatGPT about mental health, or they're up all night building solutions with Claude, but then they're very hesitant of using it at work. How do you explain that difference between this technology excites me in my personal life, but I'm wary about using it at work?
Yeah, well, there's people trust the technology more than they trust their employer. That's not great. If you think about it, it's not great at all. First of all, should they trust the technology that much? But people do. So this is a fact. This is a Gen Z fact that we were talking about, that generation puts everything into AI tools and seeks dating advice and career advice from AI tools. So, and trust that advice more than their people leader. So, I get it, but I wouldn't recommend it. But it also says a lot that they will trust that more than their employer, more than their people leader. So this trust thing is real. Low trust with an employer, low trust with a people leader will lead people to do things they probably shouldn't do, like trust technology with their dating decisions, or their career decisions, or whether to have a child or not. I don't know if I'd ask a chatbot whether I should have a child or not, but people are doing that. So sad state of the world, I would say, but that is the world that we live in. So I think, what employers want to do is not that you're going to ask your employer whether you should have a child or not, but what employers want is that people are willing to take that kind of a leap into technology into the work world and to be more open at work. But it all comes from trust. If we've got some weird things that are going on in the world right now, in the business we're in, for example, where now with AI, people can take our survey results and along with what somebody typed into a Slack channel, along with their email, and actually know a lot about who is saying what in the firm. And this fear is increasing around the world. And so just because employers, can do something doesn't mean they should do it. So we have to be very careful here at piercing the personal veil and making sure that we are able to take care of the person. The more that occurs, the less true adoption we're going to have, because people are going to be afraid of the technology rather than trusting it.
And that's interesting. Let's talk about that a bit more. So you are kind of in the business of listening and making sense of employee sentiments. I mean, how do you see that world changing?
It's like we're dealing with things now that we've never dealt with before. That because people are able to triangulate survey data with Slack and Teams and email and other social media posts, you can actually see something in one of those channels where maybe an employee says something expressing some violence. And all of a sudden bells go off. Now that could have been a person just on a bad day with a social media rant. That can cost you your career now. It can absolutely do that. And so you have to be careful and thoughtful as an individual. And I would also caution employers about having agents decide when somebody's a risk rather than a person. So, I've said things on a bad day that, probably could get me unemployed. So people have a way of doing that, and it doesn't mean they're going to act out on it. So, we have to be careful and not kind of overreact. We just had a case where somebody used ChatGPT to ask a question about a company. ChatGPT responded that this company was focused on DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. The government just shut down all funding. Totally agentic decision making, which is crazy, but it actually happened. It happened yesterday. This is a time where mistakes are going to be made, and some of them are costly. And again, whether you should trust the government right now, I'm in the U.S. I can think of reasons why you shouldn't, but that's a personal view. But I certainly want to trust my employer. And right now around the world, the Edelman data is clear that people trust their employer more than they trust their government, which is a good thing and a bad thing. Because it's just because the scores of trust for employers is not super great. It's just higher than government, which is a pretty low bar.
You started the conversation by talking about kind of growth, right? The goal, the purpose of a great place to work to enable that kind of professional growth, grow as a human. What's your advice to someone who's maybe early in their career, mid in their career, and they're kind of wary about this AI thing? They're like, they want me to participate. Am I just going to kill my job? Like, what's the right way for them to think about their growth in the context of AI?
Yeah, I think that if my suggestion for them would be that they own their career, not their employer. They personally own their career. And I don't care what the employer says. You own your career. And you're likely to work at 5 to 7 places, at least in your career. I would have that expectation. And therefore, there's going to be movement. There's going to be lots of different experiences. And what you want to be is able, in a lot of ways, to be attractive to many different experiences and many different employers. So when I had the opportunity, to get AI training, take it, jump in with both feet. Not necessarily because you want to do great things at that company, but because you want to do great things in your life and your career. So even if you're hesitant, I would jump in. Don't think about, well, I'm afraid to do it here. You're not going to be there for long, generally speaking. I would get involved. You don't learn, and try not to use it for dating, but for having more impact and being able to do more and being able to do better as the goal, and being AI first mindset, meaning that when there's a problem, you're thinking about how AI tools can help. That's going to make you very, very attractive. It's happening today. Large employers of early career people, like places like Accenture, have hired over 80,000 people, in the last 12 months, all early career people who they view as being AI first. So I don't care if you're working at a bakery, if you're working at a production plant, a manufacturing place, thinking about how AI can be used to add more value in your role. That's the place to be, and that's the mindset that I would recommend to you. That technical ability plus your own perseverance and grit are the makings of you having a career that'll have growth.
Great advice. So just to conclude, what might be one thing that you think people aren't thinking enough about or talking enough about when it comes to AI? What do you wish would be thinking about?
This morning, I went through like 6 or 7 different CEO interviews, kind of looking at videos of them because I'm going to be doing some CEO interviews shortly. And I was struck by none of them talking about their people. So I was struck by that. I was like, really? So I think at least point number 3 ought to be your people. Okay, I get market opportunity, market expansion, but maybe at least number 3. I would start with it number 1. because you're not going to get anywhere without them. So it's that. We're not going to get anywhere on this one without the people coming along and having a low point of fear. So I would focus on the people. And if I'm early career, I want to work in a place where I get exposure to tech tools. And I want to work at a place where I have a leader who wants me to grow. And if I have to choose between the two, I would choose the place where I had a leader that wants me to grow. You know, maybe I don't have Claude, but I got a leader who wants me to grow. You know, I'll take a leader who wants me to grow and Copilot over Claude and a leader who doesn't want me to grow. So that would be my advice to a person.